3,700 years ago, 5,000 people built the largest structure in the ancient Americas. Then, in a single generation, they were gone. No bodies, no weapons, no explanation. In the swampy lowlands of northeastern Louisiana, there is a place that should not exist. Not because it is hidden, it has been documented, excavated, and studied for decades, but because everything about it defies what we thought we knew about prehistoric North America. Poverty Point is a monumental ceremonial complex covering nearly 1 square mile, constructed with geometric precision so exact that it took aerial photography in the 1950s to fully reveal its design from above. 6 concentric C-shaped ridges, each separated by 40 feet, arranged around a central plaza aligned to the cardinal directions. No ancient civilization in North America was supposed to be capable of this in 1700 BCE. None were supposed to exist here at all. The scale alone stops researchers cold. The people of Poverty Point moved 3 million cubic yards of earth by hand. To put that in terms, that land, it is more earthen material than the Great Pyramid of Giza contains. They accomplished this without metal tools, without the wheel, and according to every shred of evidence recovered, without any form of coercion. There is no palace at the center of Poverty Point, no fortified wall, no elite burial mounds stuffed with treasures reserved for a ruling class. The archaeological record at this site does not resemble any civilization model we have. It resembles nothing. They were also traders operating on a continental scale. Objects recovered at Poverty Point originated from the Great Lakes, the Appalachian Mountains, the Gulf Coast, and the Ohio River Valley. Copper, galena, soapstone, chert, raw materials pulled from sources hundreds and in some cases over 1,000 miles away. This was not a scattered hunter-gatherer band making do with local resources. This was an organized, interconnected society with reach across a continent, centuries before the cultures we typically credit with that kind of network. The Olmec in Mesoamerica, long considered the mother civilization of the Americas, were building their first major centers around 1500 BCE. Poverty Point was already there and already ancient. What archaeology could not account for, what the site refuses to answer, is what happened to the people who built it. Around 1100 BCE, Poverty Point was abandoned, not burned, not buried under a rival civilization's conquest, not slowly depopulated through famine or disease the way we typically reconstruct a collapse. The evidence points to something far more deliberate and far more unsettling. They left on purpose, all at once, and they did not come back. 5,000 people, gone. And the civilization they built, with no equivalent predecessor and no traceable successor, left behind a silence that has never been adequately explained. Here is what the Earth gave up when researchers finally looked hard enough at Poverty Point. The site covers nearly a square mile of the Louisiana floodplain, and when aerial photography revealed its true shape in the 1950s, the academic world went quiet in a way that should have made headlines. 6 massive concentric ridges, each one a deliberately engineered earthwork arranged in a precise semicircle around a central plaza. The ridges are not natural formations. They required sustained, coordinated human effort on a scale that redefines what we thought early North American peoples were capable of. 3 million cubic yards of earth moved without the wheel, without draft animals, without any of the technologies we assume are prerequisites for civilization at this scale. They built it anyway. The logistics alone expose the depth of what was buried here. Archaeologists estimate a population of somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people occupied Poverty Point at its peak around 1700 BCE. To move that volume of earth in any reasonable construction window, every able-bodied person would have needed to carry dozens of basket loads of soil every single day for years. That is not casual habitation. That is organized, sustained, collective will directed toward a single purpose. And yet the material record shows no evidence of a ruling class compelling that labor. No palatial structures, no elite burial mounds filled with sacrificed attendants, no weapons caches suggesting military enforcement. Whatever organized 5,000 people to do this work, it was not fear. What they did leave behind is stranger than what they omitted. Poverty Point objects, small fired clay balls found by the tens of thousands across the site, were used as cooking stones in a landscape that had almost no natural stone whatsoever. Trade networks stretching from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes funneled raw materials into this single location. Copper from the upper Midwest, galena from Missouri, chert from Tennessee and Indiana, steatite from the Appalachians. Poverty Point was a hub, a deliberate center drawing resources from across the continent at a time when no such network was supposed to exist. They had organized long-distance exchange across 1,500 miles of wilderness centuries before the Olmec raised their first monument in Mexico. That fact alone should have reshaped every textbook written about the ancient Americas. It did not. The anomalies compound when you examine what the site is not. There are no cemeteries. In 5,000 years of North American prehistory, every sustained settlement leaves its dead somewhere identifiable. Poverty Point has produced almost no human remains at all. Explanations range from acidic soil-destroying bone to deliberate excarnation practices, but neither account satisfies the full picture. A culture that organized continental trade, engineered precise geometric earthworks, and sustained a population of thousands for several centuries left no recoverable dead. Either they removed their dead with extraordinary consistency, or something about this place and this people operated entirely outside the behavioral patterns archaeology relies upon to interpret ancient cultures. The silence where bodies should be is not an absence. It is a statement. And then sometime around 1100 BCE, it ended. Not through conquest, not through gradual decline visible in a shrinking material record, not through environmental catastrophe with a geological signature. The abandonment of Poverty Point appears to have been swift, coordinated, and deliberate. The trade networks collapsed. The population dispersed. The fires went cold. Researchers have found no evidence of a catastrophic flood event severe enough to displace thousands. No evidence of epidemic written into mass graves. No evidence of warfare or external pressure. The people of Poverty Point appear to have simply decided, collectively and apparently at once, to leave. Where 5,000 people went and why they never returned or built anything comparable again is a question the official record answers with a shrug. That shrug has now lasted 70 years. What they built at Poverty Point was not a village. It was a statement. 6 concentric earthen ridges stretching nearly a mile across, oriented with geometric precision toward the solstices, constructed by a society that carried 3 million cubic yards of earth by hand, with no wheels, no draft animals, and no detectable coercion. No palaces for rulers, no mass graves from conflict, no weapons caches, no evidence of a slave class breaking its back under threat. Whatever Poverty Point was, it was built willingly, and that fact alone dismantles nearly everything we assume about how monumental architecture gets made. The deeper anomaly is what they left behind. Thousands of small fired clay objects shaped into precise geometric forms, found in massive quantities near cooking areas. These were not decorations. They appear to be standardized heat retention tools, meaning the society invested enormous collective energy in the mundane act of cooking with consistent, replicable results. They also left trade goods pulled from as far as the Great Lakes and the Appalachians, meaning Poverty Point sat at the center of a continent-spanning exchange network while writing nothing down, building no fortifications, and crowning no king. Then, inside what the evidence suggests was a single human generation, somewhere around 1100 BCE, they were gone. Not conquered, not starved out. The abandonment looks deliberate, organized, like a city that collectively decided it was finished and walked away together into a silence that has lasted 3,000 years. The question archaeology cannot answer is where 5,000 people go when they leave a place like that. They do not simply dissolve, they go somewhere, and that somewhere has never been identified. What was buried here is the proof that our model of civilization is incomplete. Poverty Point existed outside every framework we use to explain why societies organize, build, and collapse. No hierarchy we can find. No war. No gods we can name. No writing. Just earth moved with inhuman patience into shapes that still align with the sky. And then silence. They do not want you asking what kind of people built something like this without kings or armies, because the answer suggests humanity is capable of something they have never given us credit for. Tell us in the comments what you think happened to the people of Poverty Point. Where did they go? And why does a civilization that left no enemies and no victims get erased from every story we were taught? Subscribe to What They Buried, because every week we dig up another story they hoped you would never find.